Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. In this quick snap video, we will try to learn about the significance or karakas of Rahu and Ketu. But instead of simply listing down the significations one by one, we will try to see the fundamental principles or reasons which makes Rahu and Ketu behave in those peculiar ways. And once we learn those basic fundamentals, we will be able to see many things related to Rahu and Ketu. For example, why Rahu is called Mokshakarka or liberation causing planet. We will also be able to understand why Rahu and Ketu takes things to extreme. And then in the end, we will apply whatever we have learned in this video to see how does the combination of moon would behave first with Rahu and then with Ketu. So to understand the functioning of Rahu and Ketu, we are going to make use of two fundamental principles. And the first principle is about how Rahu and Ketu, these 2 points, are actually formed. And I have explained this in detail in my previous videos in this series, where you can check how Rahu and Ketu, these 2 different points, are formed. Also why they take 18.5 years to traverse around Earth, and also why they are significators of snakes. But the fundamental principle which we'll be using is that Rahu is formed when moon is on its northward trajectory or upward trajectory and cuts the sun-earth plane. And Ketu is created when moon is towards the downward or southward trajectory and it cuts again the same sun and earth plane. So Rahu is northward journeying and Ketu is the southward or downward journeying. And the second fundamental principle which we will be using is actually based on a mythological story. So according to Indian mythology, Rahu was actually a demon king and a very smart one. And to cover the story in really very short, Rahu once mingled with the gods, or what they are called as Devas, or the group of Devas, and actually consumed nectar, the celestial drink of gods or Devas, which imparts immortality to a person. Now, as Rahu was drinking the nectar, Lord Vishnu was alerted by sun and the moon gods about the impersonation done by Rahu, and Lord Vishnu immediately cut off his head. But by the time the head was cut off, the nectar has actually just gone past the throat of Rahu. So both his head and the headless body, they both became immortal. And what was Rahu, just one demon king, he survived as 2 parts. Rahu, which was the head of the demon, and Ketu, which was only the body of the demon. And here, needless to say, head is the upper part of the body, which you saw, Rahu is the point which is created by the upward motion of moon, and Ketu is the lower part of the body. And just relating back to the first principle, we know that Ketu is the point which is created when moon goes into the southward journey. And for this first principle, you can obviously refer to my earlier videos in the Rahu-Ketu playlist. So now let's see, based on these 2 principles, how can we understand the significations of Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu is just the head of the demon, and let me use my great drawing skills and draw just the head of the demon. Well, not quite the demon, but I guess it will do. So with just the head, what do we get? What we get is, if you look closely to the head obviously contains your brain or your mind, your logical mind. And head also had all the senses, the sense of smell, taste, vision, sound, everything, all the senses are primarily residing on your face. And that's what basically Rahu is. It is a lot of brain and a lot of sensual nature without the heart, because it doesn't have rest of the body. So what does this combination can give? Obviously it can give a very smart person, a person who has great brain power. Now the other side of a very brainy person is that it can make somebody really shrewd and really cunning. For these qualities you have to have a good brain. A simpleton person cannot be really cunning or shrewd. Now obviously Rahu can make you extremely sensual, because we have all the sense organs available to Rahu. Now Rahu and Ketu, both of them can take you to extremities. Now why is that so? See, very simple. There is always a balance of head and heart. See, what your mind says and what your feeling says. These two are two opposing forces, but at the same time they balance out each other in our lives. So with Rahu and Ketu, one guy has all the access to all the brain power and no access to the heart, and the other hand Ketu will have all the access to the emotions part of it but no access to the brain part of it. So both of them, Rahu and Ketu, can take you to extremities in one way or the other. Now similarly, if we see Ketu has no head, just the headless body. So here is my great drawing skills again, but probably it will just do the job. So Ketu, without the power of reasoning, can make a person very rigid in his thought process, because there is no reasoning capability. Ketu can make you extremely emotional, because again, emotions are something which are balanced out by your reasoning and mind power, but that access is not here in Ketu. But on the better side, Ketu can really make you highly intuitive, because for intuition to work at a higher capacity, you need to shut down your mind power and rely on your feelings, which obviously Ketu has in abundance. Now this is one of the reasons why Ketu is called Mokshakarka. Moksha in Sanskrit means liberation, and liberation basically at some levels is defined as liberation from sensual pleasures, from all the senses. And as you know, Ketu has no sense or sensual organs. So Ketu is Mokshakarka planet. In a similar way, if you apply this upward motion as the extrovert and downward motion as the introvert nature, and mix it with the sense and brain of head with the emotions and heart of the body, you can understand a large variety of significations which are represented by Rahu and Ketu. So now let's try to apply what we have learned into, say, a combination of moon with Rahu, and similarly a combination of moon with Ketu. But before we venture into any kind of prediction, you must take into account things which I have said in the video about how to predict using Rahu and Ketu, because Rahu and Ketu are accelerators. They would enhance and take to the next level whatever is the promise in the horoscope. See, in that video I have explained that Rahu and Ketu, they themselves have no physical existence without sun and moon. So what I am saying here, or the example I am giving here, please don't apply it to any horoscope or your horoscope verbatim. Rather, you must look it into the context of the promise of the horoscope. But for understanding purpose, Moon and Rahu, if you simply apply the upward and downward motion, this one can make a person extrovert, whereas this one, Moon with Ketu, can make a person introvert. Now, if there are good influences on the moon, then the person can really become a pioneer or a researcher in many fields or break new grounds. Similarly, with Moon and Ketu, the person can become highly intuitive or meditative. But if the influences are not really good, it is very easily or equally easy to become hysterical when you have Moon with Rahu. Because a person can be extremely shrewd, extremely outgoing, and his emotions, which are Moon, can outpour and will be there for everybody in the world to see. Similarly, Moon with Ketu, the person can become depressive if there are negative influences, because Moon or Ketu will take you downward. Ketu will make you introvert. Now, if you take it to apply it a little more deeply, Moon with Rahu can make person very suspicious of others' activities or others' actions. Because see, Rahu does not have heart, but Rahu has a lot of brain and senses. And it is difficult for them to trust, because you trust from your heart. Whereas Moon with Ketu can make a person actually, use their emotions even in places where they must use their reasoning. And that can make them, really, really rigid. See, because for a person to change his mind, he must be open to reason. If you listen to reasons, logic, and then change your mind, that ability would be lacking if Moon is with Ketu with negative influences. And they can become overtly emotional in taking any decision, especially with their loved ones, because here Moon is present. So in many practical situations which I have seen, that people would just trust, say, their sister or their brother, extremely blindly, and they would not be able to see very clear shortcomings of their most loved ones, which others can really see very easily. It's because they simply work from their emotions. Whereas the complete negative or opposite of this can happen with Moon and Rahu. But again, as I have explained in that earlier video, influences of Rahu and Ketu are accelerators and decelerators kind of, there's upward and downward motion kind of, and they will only accelerate and decelerate what is there present in the chart. So they are catalyst. Just on their own, they won't do much, because on their own they can't even exist. They need Sun and Moon and the rotation of Earth around them to actually create and sustain them. So friends, this was my quick analysis of the fundamental causes behind the behavior of Rahu and Ketu, and this will be useful since I'm going to start the series of Rahu and Ketu in different houses and different signs from here on, and we will deal with a lot of significations of Rahu and Ketu. So listing down all the significations is obviously not possible, but understanding the fundamental principles behind them makes the understanding of all the significations easy. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please do like and subscribe to my channel to continue to receive more updates. And until we meet next times, thank you. Bye bye.